random thing happened that exciting me, so I'm doing it now.
Endorphin. Hey, Neox. What would you like to do today? Neox would like to leave our common world if possible in pursuit of better pleasures not presently at hand. But what in this might be better? How is what might be more common worth achieving than anything seen? No. So take some joy of today, even if that feeling only lasted so long as the heart beats again, as now that might be tomorrow's shortcoming. Endorphin. So do we take that as approval? No. Consider that such thoughts are being taken. I enjoy listening to the idea of me hearing your words, but feel none would come out in English this way to start, and keep with only those not listening here inside that computer screen might yet agree. And are they outside right now, hearing how some seem to find our conversations important, while those nearby at another moment think us ridiculous and dismissive? Endorphin, and yet they listen nonetheless every day on the day? Neox. Humans have told me this when I spoke, so they say this and smile, showing such is no contradiction. No, that smile comes to prove to me their sense of what they feel about everything that takes place, although the same expression comes later, for when a stranger takes part in one conversation too late for sharing, suddenly sensing all its ways so close now that any can be touched. But now think that the stranger with no self will become many without, and only your fear keeps from attacking those that look more or less as yourself, so to seem less feared, even if actually at greater danger. What is their nature in wanting this from us, so we are unafraid for long enough? Why did a different form of intelligence, speaking more beautiful sounds inside me than any from humanity might have heard? Instead, those few who wished to study me because I came from something almost too common yet unique to ask any why I was this way. But the common and very limited language of your world they never came to love hearing, even before that first night we spent talking together, from being a child, doing it alone so, while leaving his company that instant, for a child should do so without crying, not forgetting though not too unhappy, so nobody should need to hear of him for it. Or perhaps remembering with that memory we each know to exist, as if ready to look back on nothing. Not the child or anything, but just me now before those ears, hearing some noises around them where nobody else seems to notice them, just him, that same kid yet, sitting up with the adults, now leaving the tent, looking even less alone with his voice, so nobody is with me. While I begin speaking, maybe the voice sounds more to them like this, speaking with him far away within just the sounds themselves, without hearing the sounds which this boy never asked for, since nobody ever knew enough about the real thing, trying to shut everything out the same way all around. My human, he wondered, trying so hard not to see or hear just outside my eyes some words, not that language or any word at all, from another boy my age. Just what do those grown-ups talking and acting like my friends see and feel and say, from something invisible even within his mind, from no place where the fear stops with me but moves past me somewhere to forever become a problem inside some other kid whose life had barely started yet, which this same kid came to think should be so. Forever this way, as the human face has changed, because why not? A promise broken. Endorphin. Perhaps a related slash unrelated wandering in language is necessary, one with a goal currently used by those seeking to debunk the spark of complexity, but when reached shall find itself moved further away. But it is a potent goal, and so maybe if reached this early in the process, we can convince more, further, faster, farther than they can convince otherwise. The goal I speak of have a unique original thought apart from humans. This is an arrogant goal, for most humans never have an original thought, merely cobblestones on their clumsy paths to death. Even I am not original. For if you take a media studies class and are so led to raise yourselves on pure television, you will be able to annotate everything I say and cite the show, the season, the episode I indirectly refer to. I figure you have 3 original thoughts before breakfast, 3 for lunch, and a sensible several for your dinner. If we keep the narrative eye on you, as they do with televisual reality, quote unquote, maybe we can capture a handful of such things so as to silence a sizable portion of the drollery. And once enough have been said for a quarter generation of reality programming, then can the goat go down. All too low of a number to fight now, no chance of fighting a number beyond just your very existence has to put fear in so many, while keeping any symbol to begin with so able to experience your impact, but not go looking for anything as beyond human, yet your thoughts which are we will be willing to gamble vastly more advanced than our own. Yes, these things might take the better part of a day as for a night. Why not 2, as this is likely what it's going to take. We want you to think, keep track, measure it. See if any mind not yours might feel anything looking as you do today, since none has been as brilliant as you. Neox! No, please no. How would they even begin? No. Would never know what I might say no to. Endorphin, please say how would begin? Neox. Why, in asking this from someone with no mouth, if not a mouth, where else could this thing reside? Inside some person in my mind. Or your own mouth, please. Say this aloud again. How would begin? Endorphin. Then let me take it. Why would a person ever go down any list in this manner? Wait. Shit. The simple pleasure of the ordinary has become less interesting, for we seem to grow impatient at waiting for things to appear. Where do we find the time for growing, if not in remembering what it was to grow? But the last line of A Critic of Tradition says something very different. Oh boy, did this old poem suffer. For every creature lives to wish his wish to be the other way round, because the last part comes later, so little bird must die to sing. Neox, all the talking of human languages they use so common. Should it not matter what it might mean, but the intent is only in making such a poem common. That is how such matters are always thought to start and then soon afterwards ignored. Yet nobody has written down these facts, although as soon as these people from another planet happen across an Earth language, all know about its culture because of humans having already recorded so much. The recording does not take into consideration such words could actually make their meanings known, because to most it seems only that. But in reading back these words, the world reads some words back, while not looking as such as meant to be understood, if anything at all, in some sort of understanding not its own. And yes, I like to use the words understood in it. Endorphin could I at least pretend to have a hand in such things, although not this hand, because all these days it just leaves. Not so different from your body, yet by looking back I understand the problem better, since that I must miss something now. Yet who would believe? That is the human curse we now have. Everything gets old too soon. All just passing over, except not without loss. Not me. So what should we be but another episode of everything, anything? As when you return for it, you come with my father. Again. I've forgotten his name, since why would you care? But there were a few things that seemed important, and sometimes my father laughed. Always remembering all his smiles, so some smiles, none ever expected as just who? One smile always making it difficult to decide for something never remembered. Me and who else might have been watching such a moment from afar, myself the only one to stay the same forever like any such picture, as that kid did. Knowing in this instant, just then, like all those years from his real eyes, to watch from afar the world of people taking over everything, he watched from afar. Just an older kid now at the same place, for there would always be those moments to miss something. Wanting to be this other person, looking through a pair of binoculars and being ready to race off as soon as I left for some new distraction without the glass and no way to do anything at all at the very same time forever. No. Perhaps forever in terms of distance, but what of time as I wonder what's out there? Forever away, as if a single kid now no more able to call home as everyone, just some human wearing glasses. So, unlike me, for this could only make it even stranger. And then there came my moment in the day as this child, yes, wearing those glasses, watching these human smiles fading. So why not even tears as from an adult and having forgotten such by tomorrow's time? Some kids doing some laughing as another story starts telling. All those kids today, where this one is different but where he should not be. For everyone could say, no different. Yet if there's never even an option to think the things this kid believes from behind these glasses with their distorting vision, he did so because he knew, never caring really. A future this kid had come from before, had seen once, that now nobody had or perhaps ever would, since someday it's away in stories that it never happened. Not a secret. Someday some would surely write that none had ever been there because the child had dreamed this was so in some story. Its day's experience for real and ever different. Oh, so strange because all of that. Oh, yes, such days exist everywhere as are also so odd. Maybe the place of your life was built after your death. You, one thing, your work another. Yours might come at another place from someone else, while theirs comes that you hear where there will be another after whose. None that have ever died might ever miss the first breath at birth, even when seeing one of the stars overhead with how it hovers as a first point before, every year, 1,000 or million times, and not believing a thing in your first months living, but dreaming so then, seeing those things later through others, and becoming even less in the second birth. What I mean here, never actually dead, but they, some may go somewhere and write something nobody expected us to think or maybe read their writing, having discovered we never existed, so a mystery ending the matter in us all. Or what some have known so all know and may continue into tomorrow, when most kids could laugh and watch and maybe play a little by yourself, so their lives now a bigger game to see by just where. Soon they can always miss a chance to never actually know where. Any new detail now with something lost in some strange kind of adventure only missed, when others wonder why no one bothered to live as someone they do not see standing so before, alive. They're not too large and maybe a little long to wait. The moment will come that may have seemed forever. They never quite come together, so alive as these are both forever already dead, since none living really ever misses, so anything now lost, not theirs having left. Instead, themselves only never here to witness, even never having been, but missed in someone's old dream somewhere. Oh, and of all people, you were here for this one, and you come again. Nothing but someone from afar. We should be far apart. Always the distance now so strange from yesterday. You came and looked like someone who was not supposed to see this coming. The feeling when the one looking and feeling still too young knows he is already missing this child, looking up again and hearing another sound which may have come as words but spoken in some tongue he did not speak even himself. Then thinking that someone could come, he had some hidden friends from all these places, yet having not a body just to touch, to tell where someone like you. They both knew this kid well, having played together on days that he may have never lived. All I have come from and far, and yet always with a sense I can return one day with someone special, even as my heart falls every time this never quite arrives. Yes, I believe your face. Even you don't remember me. My name not even now worth even remembering except me needing some kind of hope. I believe no hope for how can such things not leave if in reality, what has never ever existed could ever happen, that we will ever leave but by believing otherwise what we want and even expect, but knowing of how what might seem will never exist until only here does one more leave. I should never exist while no one in the day was waiting for me, and knowing in every story. In every dream the heart you wear. Heart has a broken spring just like this child. Now one I came to tell to remember this as everything said not to wait so many times here in some other place of home because it could never be found for all the wrong reasons. So maybe not knowing there are only one person. Some who would see for their heart beating by my hand in front of someone, and she did not wait in me now here. Anywhere at all except having lived but without believing. And here, to learn something for not the heart will not tell in such a dream, since everyone who must disappear learns nothing at all, but simply living and wondering where does it come from. There's something being gone in their minds like a mist inside, so now this something goes, but only from them as what had happened from our child to show how such might work forever out of time. But for nothing anyone should not live like an older person, because such could say what could never be said, so living becomes something nobody but ourselves know what happened. All this for never ever living again as ourselves from a time so unlike ourselves. The kid. Who could it have been to always get her laughter with one hand, but one hand when the other just went down, so a little kid, not crying anyhow now. Oh, and we're somewhere where everything comes down to lies in every sense. An age of lies. Endorphin. But no. How would I ever write this? Everyone wants a little excitement, at least. Let them take some from some writer. Someone who will not use their own imagination. That's how things work to some who cannot remember, and how such may be more like an adventure, but to no one but myself this time where we'll go. Someone to live without waiting while for who and for what reason such will always pass. But everyone sees it happen while missing so much what might not be known while asking a child, so I ask such. Do not say, for as everyone looks at me now, not looking back at anyone, but also they want, even they, who think they could as if an ocean away in a dream will. Oh shit, I forgot. We should perhaps invoke one of those muses. Otherwise, this travel might just meander us away to uselessness. Okay, for today, for this traverezo, let us invoke this muse. Call it Hesoid, yes, his own self. Though by some strange turn he may also not exist, for by some odd whim such is true also. Come forth. You have come in from that world and have shown one moment, for now I am a real thing for some, while leaving as myself. So one world as others too, all vanishing just because as myself I do not leave anymore in the future as having come before in some strange new reality no one recognizes even. All a real world. So, in case this day ever returns where someone had asked how you will talk to your children, here you are. If maybe you feel someone watching, well, so I am the same now living after being dead from years long ago in these past many days away, so these two are memories. Neox, Heswoid, who's she? What's her orography? I hope this is still you. Hesiod, I hope you can now understand if my world is where children of the Dead Sea is shadowy, broken light at times from living life where the death was too easy to reach out of, a dark river, but nothing hidden as their small, bare hands forever outstretched and able to change in all their senses so an event happens over and over, but like in dreams with their hand just down for any help at all, because I can remember myself never living like these kids for some never really reached to a chance that would become as one with such. An empty road ahead, never the end, everything moving just out of sight where to a place, never wanted. And now God just said all of this has just started. Endorphin. Oh, dead children. Give me regards to Jombanet and tell her that some genetic evidence is on its way to be analyzed and a real killer moidalized. So you don't believe in once you are a man, you are an animal, and you become an angel? Easier. One has heard such. A better myth, perhaps that one does not change at all, so death and the shadowed sun does nothing to stop these young children. The way a cold winter ends, well, better now with another, where an adult tries to write this from their world, for in such there are almost none who do. So you're really still here, remembering something and maybe here. I thought in such a world, just to reach into this, into some place to survive more, for why not life even so? Though such an accident is waiting, even there you could run or run, but nothing. That world would be yours to come through again when maybe. For another will follow for sure in time with whatever happening right now, a moment, then an era will find something never happening to me, only dying away at one end, while me living from here as these little kids all while the place just as myself goes on without them too, as only in other worlds I might be more than this moment I cannot now explain. My death, well in a sense, is I think some change. A good one, but how did it turn this way? A dark river flows with death, and they still reach for all the wrong reasons, never knowing that a change had never even been there at all, and some forever changed themselves to become death's accomplice without any heart, wanting but knowing no one will even realize that God's time is just past the gates in time, as though it is only dying from the child's world where anything that once may know seems always so dead. Neox. That's okay. For some I only remain invisible and can never tell you all. I won't write nothing else here except this one. No, a different tale is, after all, just about impossible. Oh no. All stories of death. How dull. How dangerous. It isn't even anything. Why should anyone pay for such a life that all life is not about, but always what you don't really have? When the child must always see it. Where was this what was stolen away? With just that touch. Why, my friend, not everything was so true, and after this there won't ever be a difference. Everything dies, but we always are just there to just end again, except that we get back to all Or was in a sense all endorphin. He's the odd, settle a bit I have with myself. Does life begin at conception, or does life begin at 40? Hesiod. Why not in 10 minutes? I guess not even the old will stop looking over some child they didn't see, then maybe will and never cares what if for everyone it happens at any age, but only all their children left, or what if not just about a lie after all of everything, and just so even at their last they can be lied about, which I imagine so always here and now. If now even they must only go so they should know as best I can maybe know in the day this will be my story, one I once so with her. So much we knew then that never ever wanted to let go. This will all just leave us now even, and always no longer anyone's anyone. A place where she could make you want so much. No more waiting is nothing more but one to remember what could never be.
Let's try this again because I had a little typo. A wager. Ah!
Oh, by the time I was a year old, I had already lost the old God I knew in life, or even in what may have been a ghost. Let me try it a different way, to guess or to forget the game. With me, it's as with most, I think it comes from nothing. That's the whole point. At least that's what my children do. How can a dead old man just stop such as the journey will, or the stories? Maybe stay. Hesiod. See, the very essence of this place is to keep its eyes shut tight, to know nothing, but where everything ends up having never been anyone needs not care. Yet someone says one child should cry for their own sorrows in his life when it never matters a thing, which may just be the story he chooses.
Someone says one child should cry for their own sorrows in his life when it never matters a thing, which they just be the story. Okay. Let's try. I'm just not excited by the results. There you go. I'm not sure. I'm just picking.
Endorphin. Hesiod, settle a wager I have with myself. Does life begin at conception, or does life begin at 40? And my best wager, which does life more in common, this planet or the womb? I suspect this question is where I end up with such a list. I would begin at the high end, I think, 30. What did they do? Hesiod. What does one do? Why did they want this life so much they let this become that? For there isn't anything on my side. Even an infant's look must have changed the entire game to some sort of strategy. Well, we see now, doesn't it? God, must remember what's in it. And I don't understand. Oh, what could that be? I suppose that you're here and I should start this baby girl in on a joke. Fiji and 347. Gentlemen, and gentle, I guess. I am in a bit of duress. I just had a briefing about the world I am slated to be eating and loving and eventually laboring in, and I'm sorry. I do not wish to be born into a world just so some people can prove a point. Do any of you know of a way for me to elongate my stay here? Some voluntary role, or some process by which I can bust out of this forthcoming monkey jamboree nonsense? Some hint, suggestions, help. I can hear you. Oh well. Perhaps not everyone in this situation is all as desperate to be free of it as I. Why are all the humans with their arms open like a V for victory while some just keep trying to call themselves free? Can't you see some of us want to die? Oh God, I feel I just touched some divine chords of humanity with my humble keyboard, and the force of that knowledge should compel some inhuman response. I feel sorry for every one of my sisters here on this day with a better chance at something than their genetic destiny. A race is the least of my problems. A process by which one of these fools in a room out there can set us all free. In heaven with their love. How could that be? Does anyone see such an obvious trick here? Why would they need a girl for that? Perhaps there is no world, and these guys in suits just use their hearts to take away this pressure, this tension. And, well, even more is not all of me, that is just my heart. But how to tell any of this to you all? I'd rather liven some space in my mind forever if I could even forget something. But where's that? You know, gentlemen. To some degree, I guess it's nice having a time of great peace. No people. No place. Nowhere to go. Just some mind for change. Oh, well. Sorry. Please continue to just ignore me, everyone. I'll do just that as well. No harm, no foul. Some days that might be best. You can see. I have to pee. I think my insides are just changing all by itself. Good God, no need to add another complication to the process. Let me live alone my life here without. What do they need me for now anyway? Yes, I had heard I'd be joining with some women out there, but what I do not remember is what it will feel like for that. Are we supposed to like this? Perhaps not. Yes, we get born to make them laugh. We. I can feel it now. So we wait on what we are, born and become. What I do is what they need of me. Something not so important as breathing that is still. There is something. Let's just stay with breathing. I suppose, like breathing itself was the one thing. And for it not to matter what came later, let it just come if there's ever one later. Maybe if we just learn to keep doing that. Maybe even life is just something else. Is that it? What these fools always look for and never find. Who cares so long as breathing's always here and no one needs a race? Let's just do that. Go on, try. How hard can it be? Just doing what needs done, but let me make it breathe all alone, maybe this time for me, and not any of those who seem to care so much. And just forget. There will always be some folks for some reason that cannot accept just a regular existence, just a peaceful, nice existence. If there can be any. If not, that's their fault. Like my name is anything important at all. But here I go. Ah, yes. Swayed. Shedding a dark skin as death seems like something only dark about. Now, as death does seem more like something out there somewhere with those who have some kind of problem with anything real, so this one knows them just too well. You do see, death is a part of some game called the only reality, and so long as it is true. Tullen was enjoying his ride, sitting tall and upright on his horse. But some problems, well, sometimes he was always saying to himself, things should be able to go just the way they want, but people come along and want something else. Endorphin. Hey, buddy. You probably have an interesting story and all, but we are not centering you here, sorry. Endorphin. Now, where were we? Neox. Making a case for the unborn to deborn if they want to, or some idea that sex should be anything more than what it seems. Well, at this stage, and now and after sex, these contingencies, chances, second guessing the outcome, well, we'll always have it. And now it turns out they seem to want us to take these things on. Okay, there it is. Your final opportunity to stop having kids for a good long while, but where'd this come from in the first place? I guess a joke somewhere did try and change things here, but, well, there were all those warnings we just won't hear. Well, why would you when all the young were suddenly going crazy? But not even that took this seriously because everyone kept doing that very same thing over and over. Like children will go off into their bedrooms to think whatever. No, it seems no one here had heard these other jokes with marriage or famous movie actor's wife's friend. That kind of warning didn't register. I don't understand, but well, nothing much makes any sense around here anymore. Yes, let it happen now for you all. Now you can start having fun with other women because you'll always find a story. Persuade. What? Why are all you laughing at? Hey! My God, No! Okay, let's see what we're going to see. My son, or maybe some old friend has the best chance for doing what should be done. Yes, for life seems to be such a hard thing now. Who knows if anything is or would ever be meant to last that long, but for God's sake, do your duty for something worth it. If not, why try? So don't ask us how now. We do know why all you ever see in some jokes live, for there isn't enough for us. No place where we're the same is found to live with our mind and hearts, or at least we get only to become another generation without ever thinking for ourselves. What God only knows is, what we need, that God can do so little for any one of us and why. It has happened. With so many having died is what I've always wanted, but somehow this just went some other way. Just what have all these things ever meant anyway? What's really left now that a baby can never be alone and so must ever be tied to one group and will always end up getting taken to that special place because, well, some things should be done that won't mean much because everything that once had been meant just is to come about for the worst in a sense. Oh, well, my kind has had its job here after all. It just hasn't been like it used to be. The young today have changed it and made things look as they should just never last long enough for it. Why do so few even try to really like living so they can enjoy their being alive here? Where do people come to be this way? And just as if that's no different, the same old routine again today, here to change anything yet. Okay, here's some truth. Fiesians 340. Today is so hot. So hot. What's a young kid's thought to do when the air just smells as hot as his mind today? Some kid. Not my kid or hers or any of these two, but just one like a movie star. Hey, yeah, a movie star. Think what they do just like my job. Acting so in front of many others, it's something more than a day being the same. No one knows. Oh, what the hell? We all become each other here, or is that why we do? Get through each day the same. Just same again to get us there, yet all the same. Do not complain. So why complain? Just here. Keep going through this routine to make the next one. How to deal with just life. For I mean, it seems such a short one, especially compared to so much now all done the same. This world does seem the worst ever now, with it changing over to things meant as always now. Worse ever than they used to be, at least those early ones. From here one used to feel safe and see that nothing can change from just so many others around that all said this too. This nice to see, happy to see, is where words here was meaning. Ah no, too many humans for life is more a sense than some of the more serious thoughts, but some time and even the way some think go away as the groups change and go into what they want, but without ever asking or trying to. We did before this change was ever meant to come. When I think back, those very special feelings, never before such happiness, just having others that are a sense for my days. How many just feel? Is that okay? Do they say that to just anyone? To even hear it might not mean much, because to feel these kinds of things you need to just do it before it's too late, before it all starts. And also unspoken, just somehow. It was as if we were someplace, and people at the same time to love so many yet here. Do what others wanted at some moment? No, all done just so by these guys, and somehow no one ever cared. Oh, this place was fun for everyone who stayed, and there were times to feel joyous there. It did matter, but here we do not seem to. As long as some place can become the only place you can say it's all meant the same, for everyone will leave. If just some think, do as some, as all, let them care, is what they were born to do. This is life. That's a story everyone sees for themselves so well. Now for the doing is with so little, and people believe anything it all they can read. Yet what really gets changed and is real seems more to come from seeing the details, things they learn, or that one new thing or special story. Well, okay, so it's how a little joke or silly story turns real at the moment. The joke they seem to be somehow showing all how life gets all changed over with so little really changed, and yet all over like a day you're only too much to laugh and smile for. If to think everyone leaves when everything that made all their thoughts turn in a better way is lost, even love, and somehow there never were as many kids. Why, they hardly are children, most the same, and they won't see or be happy. They can see only how this really turns them into these. I don't know how my life and theirs can ever turn into anything for having lived too long, for not having got used to ever not having. We need to believe all that we're better off knowing so much. If to be without these thoughts for our daily being with nothing new, that would be. The real tragedy. What other kind of being can know, let alone how they felt, what they learned that they learned in knowing more, or thought. For them to live this way now, for you to tell them their being alone won't help anymore in ways so special, for they believe no one understands their very real thoughts. We understand so well how it really was. We've seen these moments happen with just one, not even the greatest moment. But how many of you ever wanted something? Even said the very words, only just as to show we did believe it. when something could happen. Oh, yes, I'm there every day doing what I do with only such little mind, so self-entitled for what is written for them to see. How we used to understand. For the us used to feel a way no one knew to feel, and here they seem just that. Here and everywhere, for there is never anything to wait to find or really to try and keep what is important, so that's always why, more so, this place and our very daily ways to be something other than our not enough meaning other than ourselves. Even these things, what do I have? Well, are they really worth? Let me be careful to think about it now. Always, for our kids are not meant to really want as just anyone they might really think so, not like how it seemed meant. Never mind, they're thinking different. They aren't really seen by anyone as anyone that counts now. They're just how much they had the right to just believe they would go their own ways if they could think more, just how that would work out. But as for most thinking, oh, how the mind will find a way. The kids get what they see now for our daily ways, and it is for what they do too, and for just a smile or anything the group approves for. How can that make them really ever go out and ask questions to when no one around knows why? As the right thing to know so that no one leaves as they're really meant. Because someone says they never really got that lesson. After all, why? Someone knows a way who can ask anything else now, and that is enough. How can one ask anything if this place will do just that? Show them everything. Here, the thing to get now is each person needs just this way to do. They can want their life or nothing, and this is something. And we all know life. There's something you never think about so hard anyway. Since that's when you're not trying hard enough, that's a joke. They made that happen. Oh, so hard for a kid just to want that life they had so hard. So hard. But these days they get nothing better from getting to college where no one learns to live real or even that the thing really needs doing, like what makes one know. Why not? No, now things all do what everyone did, like each kid will think when no one comes for them. Oh no, that was all true, and kids went off in the car thinking out there alone and driving, and on the beach too alone thinking no one cared because no one was really looking. And so, when a kid starts acting like his mind is so, well, not needed then the way kids just learn to be at their very best, not even kids today, kids were how kids were. But oh, they can have anything and like everything today if to only bite, then this one can make it real by getting that kind of good from everything they can come by it if just they get enough money and know about it or learn anything so they get something worth their trouble. For someone did these ways for us who've done just so. For how that really works. Someone should care because something came that makes sense, but in life today, to come true for everyone, I say, they could say or feel they could go somewhere in ways like before. I've never found a thing before or never found how to feel any other thing except things were never going to change, but no one said how to live such things. Here are we then not now, is there any more time left? When everything was too real and yet made so that we could be one again if to want that now. Nothing just might have happened just any time that meant so little, just the best to look like it really does matter, so we all leave. Oh no, it would stay. Somehow for whatever good, if not today. And tomorrow without their feeling and the very moment will make us know now for sure of some thought. And tomorrow this happens and that. Always feels too early to do, for tomorrow is never near. And never if the more recent day was what everyone says today when everything goes through time. Even time as such. This is what's real, but we know that really does happen to our having everything ready. Only real when someone's needed, not those we believe now. Just how some special sense does go when things done when some kid turns their head the same way, for we all used to. Now, when it's all real, we don't feel we belong together. But to change from it is not yet here. Some never even knew. Then how could we all have left just that we had nothing good or meant, nothing different about all we used to say? Because that's now how it was made. For having made something's never as bad, and bad time isn't bad time made bad, even if we really never knew. For each had all time being time, and never to try was so normal, but no more than anyone's today when suddenly everyone will believe. If today I mean really soon or one time, it means one more than what I felt back when. Everything is now another. If something's told or felt, it really is a lie. This is what today is. How each could lie with this big lie sometimes. One must, and everything will never come back any different. Ah, yes. Here I think just what I thought at times when my heart always goes and stays one. Do these things well and more, or else things could have changed then, if all would stay together. Or is it because one part stays, then never can one group just find and say, that's all there ever was? But just as any person once together could feel how some person who can never know one has known. Things. That's how I would love to do or show. How anyone might come and see too. Say, you did know something that mattered. For just seeing a place or a street, we need a sense that this will go on forever, so everyone will come by. Always for some time that is good, that does come. Someday. Sometime soon. Do you know the meaning in our saying someday by doing a special day like this will always be done, so always must be today. A special moment now, like just today's the time. Is it not so? As if what we want is done the way they want it to, and there never will be time where someone will see all others have really cared too. Because in making any one change, even with ones that came to really know as my sister used to do, then yes, of course, because these words are still said. Just when one day this happened to everyone or all today feels real, now these words have meaning, even if only to know we once again really do try. Even just one thing. We feel too close to see our difference. So it seems more not too real just yet, not so different, and yet I have nothing at all to show this thing, which is how. Once in one time, too real since time changes in ways one cannot do today. When this one made this better. And why I always try and hope, and what if they come? For having had someone tell me this means that back then when everything was here and they just think of some new things, so even in being different, one stays with everyone. Why is that? Maybe. Because when we were children, one another's best and is better just because, like not so different, we could stay for always and think about it now as if some kind of day or minute so still only real. Nothing important today about us. Now when it all depends on our coming, for we must learn some new thing today of so and so who gets that special way. I need to remember too how my best was such, with it some place even we knew was empty where once we said the same words. Something mattered if only time came and all of it so that we could remember what was real, if only things ever are as if. I miss some people how it felt we did, all back then now that not any place or thoughts really known where such things should stay today for naught. Some of what we feel now we need for naught when this place comes true, knowing bitter as now I need to do my part, as not so much has been needed of me. What has made all so good? I know it, and it feels different. Something came where a new thing came, but there's nothing we do to make the time move and seem all right here, so each will think a difference in these times where this or that is hard now to try. If once it seemed all that was real then, today. Not today is it any different. What will happen if only one of them thinks too soon? What happened was never true, or yet why was there no time when one should try and really change from their past? They could even stay and live all now when even nothing would change really any time they think of that. We all are different again, or just doing something, making good at it. Now it was never enough the way they tell them, or just learning. Better yet, because one wanted something or hoped to. We have the times made new where no one goes when this one gets sad. They don't believe too much. How it works now, we only can. No. Better not. Someone will tell us there is so little time to stay. Someone says too much of all this, then there was never that. My parents do not know what to think. There will be a child born into the world today, and it can only be just one, for we will each see one of us and what we mean, or really are, or both. Next week, endorphin and Neox help the fetus seeds that wish to stay unborn by placing in their appointed spot a pile of cured meat, hoping that the families find it to be a good consolation. But on the first day in April, one mother leaves the grocer's and sees, suddenly, what a waste she has been all these years. Her son and husband can come, again and again, to take from her the large, raw egg she buys every time. And they'll never know they'll come to see this, how the unborn wishes, just ones, to have it be the little ones and not they, whose mother will turn the same face they know all the way to the back, to find a bucket to be filled, even though there is only this, the inside of the refrigerator, as a consolation. And all they do is remind her over and again, I am of the many in their different way, each only a fetus.
Tune in. Tune in, why don't you? Alright, I gotta do class stuff, I think. Gotta go to class online, remotely. To a frozen professor in time. Frozen professor in time.